Yo, what's going on? Chopper bringing you another PC build. Unfortunately, this one's not mine. I have a buddy named Nick who was interested in PC gaming. Came to me looking for some help, so I obliged. I gave him some help. Built him a parts list. We're gonna check out the parts right now. So for his CPU, we had the Ryzen 5 3600X, 3.8 gigahertz, 6-core processor, pretty good. I recommended the Tomahawk Max, but we ended up having to do a quick substitution due to a lack of stock. So we got the B450M Pro M2 Max, Ryzen 3000 ready. So we had to make a little substitution, which was unfortunate, but at least we got something. For memory, we got the G-Skill Ripjaw V series, 2 8GB sticks, 16GB total, DDR4 3200, pretty decent, not bad for the price. For storage, we went with a SanDisk SSD Plus, 120GB, and then we went with a Seagate Barracuda 2TB, both reliable drives. Graphics card, we ain't playing around, you already saw it on the screen, the MSI GeForce 1660 Super actually, so that's pretty cool. Not sure why we got TI on the list, but we got the Super for the build. Basically the same card, but not really, but the Super is great. Case, we're rocking the Corsair Spec Delta RGB ATX mid-tower case, which is a great case. I had a great time working with it, and so did my friend Nick. It was very fun. Case has a lot of ports for cable management. It's got 2 hard drive bays, and it's got 2 mounts for the SSD, so you can have up to 4 storage drives, which is great for the size of the case. And then finally, for the power supply, we went with the EVGA BR 600 watt 80 plus bronze, so that's a good little drive we got going on there. So we're getting the motherboard into the case. So we wanted to go with the Tomahawk Max, but it was out of stock everywhere we were looking when he was ordering his parts, and if it wasn't in stock, the price was way too high. This board's worth 115 bucks, if that, and we were finding it online for 400, which was absolutely unreal. Do not spend that kind of money for a B450 Tomahawk Max. Despite it being a great board, it's not worth $400. So we ended up having to go with the Pro M2 Max, which isn't bad, but we ran into a little problem because his case that we got has 3 intake fans in the front with RGB lighting and 1 exhaust fan, but the motherboard only has 1 CPU fan port on the motherboard, which is a little unfortunate. So he's eventually going to invest some money in the Tomahawk Max at some point, so we can get a little more fan usage going on. But until then, we only have the exhaust fan running, which is a little unfortunate. The airflow might suffer because of that, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal because his computer is going to be in a nice ventilated area and room, so it shouldn't be too bad. And the board fit pretty well in the case. Had no issues. The case ended up having mounting screws already set up. Corsair makes very great cases. I used the Corsair Obsidian 750D for my PC build. If you want to check it out, I got a video on my channel of my PC build that I just made a couple of months ago. And that case also had mounting screws already installed. Corsair just makes very great cases with drive bays that don't need any tools to install the drives, and they just have mounting screws already installed, so it's great. So here we are getting the 1660 Super installed. I made a little mistake and took off the wrong IO shields or plates in the back, so he was having a little difficulty getting the card in, but luckily I eventually realized it. A few little mistakes that happened in this build, like earlier in the build I was trying to use a PCIe cable from the power supply to plug it into the motherboard when you're supposed to use the CPU cable, and I was getting a little confused until I used my brain and realized what I was doing wrong. But that's what happens when you drink a couple Sam Adams while doing a PC build. You're just going to make a little mistakes, but it's alright because they were resolved before we did the first boot up. And the first boot up was seamless. Plugged everything in, turned it on, and it posted just fine. I was getting a little worried because it took about a minute for it to finally post. Luckily it did. so that was exciting. And his PC's pretty great. We got all the cables managed. The case has a lot of good ports, so you can manage the cables a little bit. As you're seeing on the screen, the cables are pretty messy, but we weren't really worrying about that just yet while we were screwing in the graphics card. We're going to worry about cable management a little later. At this point in the build, we don't even have any drives installed, and we end up getting the SSD next. But it was very exciting. I'm glad my friend Nick has a nice PC he can mess around with. Hopefully everything will run smoothly for a long time and he won't run into any problems. I'll probably be helping him put the new motherboard in whenever he ends up deciding to get the Tomahawk Max. So there's the SSD mounted right into the back side, which is pretty cool. And here we are with the Windows installation. Luckily everything worked fine. Once it posted, we set the boot device and it booted just fine. He's got an awesome Black Widow Razer keyboard with RGB lighting and a nice Corsair mouse. Not sure exactly what mouse that is. If you know what mouse it is, please leave it in the comments. So we got a little temporary setup. His desk hasn't arrived, so the PC's on the floor. But yeah, that was very satisfying. That was at the very end. We got all the side panels on. Everything's in. It's kind of hard to see. It's a little dark. I even used my flashlight so you can see inside, but all you could really see is smudges on the glass. But it came out very well. Here it is in action. The 1660 Super has some RGB lighting. Here's a nice MSI curved monitor, 165 Hz. Not quite sure exactly what monitor he got, but it was very nice. I've never used a 144 Hz refresh rate monitor because he only has an HDMI. Couldn't set it to 165, but I never used a 144 Hz monitor and I could tell the difference right away, so it was pretty sweet. Never really got to try out any games, however. We were installing Warzone, but you know that's a huge download, so that wasn't gonna be happening. But here we go, we got the hard drive and the SSD all formatted and ready to go. We got the ripple effect on the Black Widow. Everything is running the way it should. All he's gotta do is buy some games, hit us up in Discord, and we're gonna be playing. I appreciate you guys watching. If you're into PC content or any type of video game content, please hit the subscribe button. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video. Just kind of a little quick one. Wasn't really trying to make anything special. Just wanted to get some footage of us putting the computer together. You can see he's signing into his Xbox. Hopefully his password doesn't appear on the screen. I don't think it should. But anyway, this is X Chopper. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, leave a comment, thumbs down if you thought this video sucked, subscribe, unsubscribe if you hate this shit, just let me know. Alright, peace.